The team here in Mission Control confirming that HTV has arrived at a distance of about 15 meters, which is 49 feet away from the International Space Station. The crew should be calling down here shortly with a report of what they're seeing on board.
Houston Station for corridor report.
We're ready to copy.
So camera 37 MBS. The white strobe is within the global corridor limits. Vehicle size matches the vehicle outline. White strobe position is about a third of the diameter starboard of the strobe tracker. And strobe tracker position is about slightly aft of the global corridor center. How copy for 37?
We copy all for 37.
And camera 3, the white strobe is within the global corridor limit. Vehicle size matches the vehicle outline. White strobe is about a third of a diameter forward of the strobe tracker, and the strobe tracker position is slightly aft, slightly starboard of the global corridor center.
Paolo, we copy all. We appreciate the detailed call, and that is consistent with everything we're seeing, so we're happy. Thank you.
HTV and the International Space Station continuing to head over Africa. That is the Nile River there coming into view. These two spacecraft are going to be flying over parts of the Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia as they head out over the Indian Ocean. It's a fairly remarkable view here from the end of the station's robotic arm as HTV begins to rise from down below it. As we mentioned, the HTV is going to be holding at a distance of 10 meters, which is about 33 feet. This is the point at which Cady Coleman, one of the flight engineers for Expedition 26, will begin to fly that arm out toward the HTV, and will begin the process of grappling it. That will occur in the 8 a.m. Central Time hour. And of course, we'll have live coverage of all of that here on NASA TV. This is Mission Control Houston. As you can see, we've lost our video coverage of the International Space Station. We're not going to pick it back up until about 5:52 a.m. Central Time. So we may not actually have video of the actual capture. But this is a live view outside of the Scuba Control Center, which is just outside of Tokyo, Japan. The team there is watching very diligently as their cargo craft arrives at the International Space Station and following along with the progress of the Expedition 26 crew. This is, as we mentioned, only the second time that this cargo craft has flown to the International Space Station. The first time was back in 2009. But this JAXA team has worked very closely with their NASA counterparts. Not only the Expedition 26 crew, but the flight control team here in Mission Control, the Mission Operations Directorate here at the Johnson Space Center. All these teams have trained extensively for today's operations. The visiting vehicle officer here inside Mission Control is confirming to Flight Director Ron Spencer that we should be arriving at the hold point in about 2 minutes. This will be 10 meters away from the International Space Station. This will be the final hold point for HTV, as it will stay there for a bit. And that is when the crew will begin to use the station's 58-foot robotic arm to reach out and latch on to HTV. This is animation of all the events that have taken place over the last hour and a half or so as HTV approached the International Space Station from down below it. As we mentioned, there was a series of engine burns over the last several days as HTV fine-tuned its course toward the orbiting complex. It first held at 250 meters away from the International Space Station and then went up to a distance of 30 meters. It is now about to hold at 10 meters or 33 feet. And that is when that arm will be used to reach out and grab onto it and fly it the rest of the way in toward the bottom of the Harmony node. That is where it will stay for several days. It is going to be relocated on February the 18th. It'll be moved to the top of the Harmony node. This is to get it out of the way for the upcoming STS-133 mission.
102.
Houston Station, capture point hold confirmed. Grapple fixture is within the capture volume on both cameras views.
We copy all. Thank you.
Expedition 26 flight engineer Paolo Nespoli there confirming with the team here in Houston that the capture point has been reached by the HTV. This is 10 meters away from the station. The team also confirming that HTV is lined up in the exact position that it needs to be in and is expected till the actual capture operations will begin here shortly.
Station, Houston, FRGF SEP is enabled. You have a go to perform HCP command availability check, step 12 in 1.102.
In Houston Station, copy. And capture prep is confirmed and crew ready for HTV capture.
We copy, you're ready. Stand by for go to perform capture.
That's Megan MacArthur there on the left-hand side. She's the Capcom. She's talking with Paolo Nespoli on board the International Space Station. Ron Spencer there right beside her is doing his final go for capture. So we will stand by from word from the team here in Houston that all things are set and ready to proceed.
Station Houston, Space to Ground 2, go for HTV capture sequence, step 4 in 1.110, begin monitoring the backaway cue card.
Roger, copy. Step 4 in work.
So the crew of Expedition 26 has been given the go by the mission control team here in Houston. They are go for the capture of the Japanese HTV cargo craft. Since we do not have live video from the International Space Station, we're bringing you this view. This is the robotics view from here inside mission control that shows you the exact position of HTV as well as the Canadarm2. That is the International Space Station's 58-foot long robotic arm. So we'll be able to monitor the progress of the crew as they reach out and grab on to what is the cargo craft that's flying under the call sign of Kounotori. That means a white stork in Japanese. You can see the flight director console there at Scuba Japan. There's 3 different flight directors working. There's Kota Tanabe, Takashi Uchiyama, and Maki Maeda there on the far right-hand side. They're watching very intently during these last few moments of the capture of the Japanese HTV cargo craft.
3.5 meters.
Right out.
2.5. Drift command issued. Drift. Three pins.
Okay.
2 pins. 1 pin. Going in. Over the pin.
And capture.
Capture. Capture goes blue.
Capture of the Japanese HTV cargo craft confirmed at 5:41 a.m. Central Time.
Is coming.
The two vehicles are over the southern Indian Ocean at about 220 miles heading down toward the southeast. So once again, the Expedition 26 crew successfully latching on to the Japanese HTV cargo craft. 5:41 a.m. Central Time.
Tension is 5,300. Position hold. And Houston Station, HTV capture is complete.
Great job, you guys, Paolo, Cady, and Scott, on the morning's work. Congratulations to all of you, and congratulations to the HTV flight control team. Great work today.
Megan, we have Kounotori in our grasp. It demonstrates what we can do when humans and robots work together. We look forward to bringing HTV2 Kounotori aboard the International Space Station.
Good words, Cady.
This is Mission Control Houston, once again just confirming at 5:41 a.m. Central Time. That is when the Japanese HTV cargo craft was successfully captured using the International Space Station's robotic arm. Of course, that is the first major activity of this morning. The crew is going to use that arm to steer HTV around toward the bottom side of the Earth-facing portion of the Harmony node. This is going to be the home for HTV for the next few weeks up until February the 18th. That is when HTV will be moved around to the top side of the Harmony node, which is the space-facing portion of it. It'll stay there until after the end of the STS-133 mission, which is going to be Discovery's final flight. Today begins a series of very busy days for the crew of Expedition 26 in terms of these HTV operations. The actual berthing of the HTV is going to take place later on this morning. We'll have live coverage here on NASA television. Tomorrow morning at about 6:30 a.m. Central Time, that is when the Expedition 26 crew is going to open the hatch between the Harmony node and that pressurized portion of the HTV that will begin all the different cargo operations, taking out all the supplies and equipment that HTV is bringing up. The external pallet operations are going to begin on February the 1st. That is when that external pallet that is carrying up some unpressurized cargo is going to be retrieved from the middle portion of the HTV and steered around using the station's robotic arm, handed off to the Kibo robotic arm, and it will be temporarily stowed to the exposed facility, which is on the outside of the Kibo laboratory. This is the current layout of the station, or what will be after this morning, with the HTV attached there to the Harmony node. All the different Soyuz vehicles that delivered the Expedition 26 crew, and the Progress 39 there back at the back. So once again, on February the 1st, that is when the exposed pallet operations will begin. From February the 2nd through the 4th, that is when the parts on that exposed pallet will be transferred. They're going to be temporarily stowed on the Dexter robot. There's a platform that robot operates on. You're seeing animation of the retrieval of this exposed pallet here. Once all the different parts on that exposed pallet have been retrieved and temporarily stowed, that pallet is going to be reinserted back into the HTV. That should take place on February the 7th. As we mentioned, HTV is going to be relocated on February the 18th. It'll be moved back to its current position on March 7th, or sometime after the STS-133 mission is complete. And then HTV is due to be undocked on March the 28th, and it should be deorbited in the Earth's atmosphere coming up on March 29th.
Station Houston on 2 for HTV.
Go ahead, Megan.
Paolo, you have a go now for Step 5 in HTV capture, but no other subsequent maneuvers. Step 5 only.
Copy. Step 5 only in work.
We're going to be regaining our video coverage from the International Space Station here in about 4 minutes. This HTV is bringing up more than 4 tons of supplies to the crew. It's got 51% of that being spare parts, 24% being food, 10% science experiments, 8% is crew supplies, and 7% is water. While this HTV is up there with the International Space Station now, down below on the ground at the Baikonur Cosmodrome, the Progress vehicle is getting ready to be launched later on tonight. These are some pictures of the rollout that took place over the last day or so, as the Progress headed out toward the launch pad there at the Baikonur Cosmodrome down in Kazakhstan, readying for tonight's launch. The launch time tonight is 7:31 p.m. Central Time. That will be 7:31 a.m. Friday morning local time in Baikonur. It will take about 2 days for the Progress to get up to the International Space Station. It is going to be docking with the Pirs docking compartment. We will not have live coverage of the launch tonight, but we will have live coverage of the actual arrival and docking of the Progress coming up on Saturday. Our live coverage will begin at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The actual docking will take place at 8:39 p.m. Central Time, or 9:39 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Mission Control Houston. Once again, this is a view being generated from the robotics officer here inside Mission Control. While we do not have live video coverage, we should be regaining that here in the next minute or so. Now that HTV has been captured, the crew has to steer this large cargo craft around to get it lined up with the bottom side of the Harmony node. And there is our first live view of the HTV captured by the station's robotic arm. Right now the two spacecraft are to the south of Australia, about to head toward the northeast over the Pacific Ocean. They are heading into orbital night, the sun beginning to set.
Houston Station, HTV capture step 5 is complete.
We copy. HTV capture is complete. You have a go now for 1.120.
1.120 in work. Thank you.